Alright, what's going on, guys? So I just got done watching the new Armored Core TV show episode from Amazon's Secret Level, and this kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people. But yes, we got our first actual From Software game-based TV episode. This is the first time we've gotten something like this, and while it was only one episode of an anthology series, we gotta talk about it, because there have been a lot of rumors of other From Software shows in the works, such as a Elden Ring TV show or movie, and a Sekiro anime, but I think what we have here could set the stage for others to follow. So let me get you up to speed in case you didn't hear about this. So the anthology series on Prime Video called Secret Level just dropped. It's an anthology series dedicating episodes to many of the biggest game releases over the past few years. Unfortunately, I can't show you guys anything from the show on here because they are copyright claiming like crazy. I've already gotten hit a few times, so I'm just not going to do it at all. But one of those episodes is dedicated to Armored Core and features a story set in the Armored Core 6 universe with Keanu Reeves playing the protagonist. And man, I just gotta say he is the perfect fit for this. But we'll talk about that more in a second. Now the actual episode itself is only about 10 minutes long. Unfortunately, because I wish there was more. The episode opens up with Keanu Reeves' character, an augmented human AC pilot, at a bar, and he's sitting there muttering, talking to a voice in his head when someone else in the bar approaches him. And it really sets the stage for the dynamic here because immediately the choral voice assesses the approaching person as a target and gives a hostility reading, but then you kind of see that it's just a concerned person, yet the protagonist lashes out and smashes a bottle on their head. So we see right off the bat that these augmented humans don't fit in with society at all. They've clearly got a lot of issues, and like when he leaves the bar, he just snatches a cigarette from somebody outside and starts a fight immediately again. And that's something the lore of the game touched on a little bit, but we never actually got to see in action because we don't have any human characters. All of the characterization is told through the mechs or over comms, and our player character in AC6 is entirely silent. But we see the protagonist in the show have this friendly back and forth with the voice, something he's unable to do with the people around him. And the entire intro sequence is just foreboding and depressing until he gets orders from his dispatch to hop in the AC and go and investigate an unspecified target in a mountain. And here we get a little dialogue that sets the tone for the relationship between the pilot and the dispatch, to where he's not even concerned about what the target is and not getting details about what he's up against because it doesn't matter. Like we see in AC6, the pilot is just the dog and orders are orders. And one thing that's really cool is actually when he's climbing into the AC and getting ready to launch out, they do a really good job at painting how brutal it is inside that cockpit. He just plugs himself in with all these different needles directly into the skin. And instead of having all these monitors that project the outside, kind of like a Titan in Titanfall, it's got these projectors that send the image directly into his eyes. And I thought all that was pretty cool. But the majority of the episode is just action between his AC and a lot of other units. We do see fights between other armored cores, and I imagine to a lot of people that's the highlight. And they really do a fantastic job on the action here. The animation and graphics are absolutely incredible, and the fight sequences themselves are creative. They showcase a lot of the different parts of the AC, all of which you'll recognize from the game. And instead of it just being a shootout with the main character being invincible, all the bullets bouncing off him and all that, he has to approach the situation with strategy. He takes a lot of damage and the other ACs are legitimate threats. But the whole time this action is building and he's getting closer to the objective, they do a good job at setting the tone that whatever's inside that mountain is out of the ordinary. Now I'm not going to spoil the ending, although like I said, the episode's only 10 minutes long, but here I'll kind of give you my overall thoughts about it. Like I said, Keanu Reeves is the perfect fit for this. He plays this character pretty similar to John Wick, except a bit more brash, and it just works really well. The writing here is also really good. The dialogue is witty. It's not cringe. It breaks down the themes of the episode, but in a way that sounds natural. There were a few times, like in the bar for example, that the voice acting, because this is all CG, did kind of sound like video game NPCs. But again, it's like one character with a one-off line, so it didn't really matter that much. But the majority of the episode is conversations between Keanu Reeves and the choral voice, and they both do a fantastic job. But the actual story of the episode, I think they did a really good job on, because instead of focusing on perhaps the ACs and describing the machinery and the way they work and all that, things we get in game, the air of intrigue in the episode focuses on the augmented humans. It explores their nature from an angle that we didn't get to see happen in the game. And I think that right there is what these TV shows, movies, or anime can do to help expand the IP they're portraying. That way you learn something new about the game from this other medium, rather than it just giving you the exact same plot that you play in the game. And hope that if we do end up getting, say, an Elden Ring movie or TV show, that it does something similar. Instead of just telling us the story of the Tarnished, going through the exact same steps that we saw saw in game. It tells a story that highlights other aspects of the world. And this is just a quick example. Say maybe our protagonist is a samurai from the land of reeds, who has his own adventure through the lands between, not necessarily the adventure of the Tarnished, but in a way that also plays with the fundamental lore that we learn in the game. However, can offer a new perspective on those things that we otherwise wouldn't get. Now, does that make it much more easier to screw up? Yes. But if done correctly, it can add a lot for the player and go a long way in making the world feel bigger than the game. But that's just my opinion. It all really comes down to if the director of whatever project they're working on actually takes the time to respect the source material like that, and admittedly, that seems to be a rare case. But this episode of Secret Level has me hopeful. They really did do a good job with this, and it seems like it worked in tandem with the AC6 story, and respected the material within. They crammed a lot into this 10 minutes, and I really wish there was more, because it felt like it was enough to get me hooked, and then it was over. I've got all these questions, but I know no answer is coming, unless maybe we get another AC6, DLC, or a secondary game like the past ones have done, and who knows, maybe that announcement comes on Thursday. But I'm curious if you guys have watched it already, what did you think about it? Does this give you hope for future From Software adaptations? Y'all let me know down below. But if I had to give it a score out of 10, I'd say probably 8.5. It didn't do anything wrong, but it also wasn't enough to really feel complete in my opinion. But the little bit that it did show was very good. With all that though, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like on it and subscribe if you're new around here, and I will catch you in the next one.